Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana 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 Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Radha Shama Sundaradha Shama Sundaradhi. Jai Radha Shama Sundaradha Shama Sundaradhi. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Nitai go Haribo. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Nitai go Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacacharya Stotara Satashi Srimad Divine Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitliri Vishtam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacacharya Stotara Satashi Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gau Premanandi Hari Hari Bhavo. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachate Shatarane. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today is also the appearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. Yes. So the Lord appears in this world with his intimate associates, and his most intimate associate, his expansion, his Hladini Shakti, his pleasure potency is Srimati Radharani. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye. She's the queen of Vrindavan. And although Krishna, he conquers Cupid, but Srimati Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. She conquers the conqueror of Cupid. And everyone in this world is conquered by Cupid, because everyone's looking for that internal pleasure potency. And the Lord appeared, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared again, and Gadadhar Pandit is an incarnation, potency of Srimati Radharani. Difficult for us to understand how in different leelas the Lord appears with his different associates for the purpose of bringing back all the conditioned souls. So many pastimes are there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Gadadhar Pandit. Mahaprabhu asked Sri Gadadhar Pandit to do 3 activities on his behalf. Be the authoritative teacher of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Only by the potency of Guru, just like Balaram is considered our first Adi Guru. So Srimati Radharani, she is the source of all goddesses of fortune. And here Gadadhar Pandit is being directed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, be the authoritative teacher of Srimad-Bhagavatam. 2, give Diksha, formal initiation on behalf of Mahaprabhu to true seekers on the path of pure Braj Bhakti. And 3, worship the deity of Sri Gopinath along with his eternal consort, Śrī-rājā. So there are many pastimes, and just like in Krishna Lila, to increase, intensify the desire of the gopis in Srimati Radharani, Krishna would sometimes perform pastimes of not being available. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going on his pilgrimage to Vrindavan, Gadadhar also wanted to accompany him, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, no, you have Shik, Kshetra, you have made a commitment to stay and worship the deity Gopinath, Tota Gopinath. So Gadadhar fainted out of sorrow and separation. But at that time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't go to Vrindavan. He canceled his trip, and he felt it was because of the sadness of Gadadhar Pandit. Pandit ki jai. So much more to say about Gadadhar Pandit. But we're reading today from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 80. You want to go to the introduction, to the summary? The Brahmana Sudama visits Lord Kṛṣṇa in Dwaraka. This chapter relates how Lord Kṛṣṇa worshipped his Brahmana friend Sudama, who came to his palace seeking charity, how the two of them discussed the pastimes they had shared while living at the home of their spiritual master, Sandipani Muni. The Brahmana Sudama, a personal friend of Lord Kṛṣṇa's, was completely free of material desires. He maintained himself and his wife with whatever came of its own accord, and thus they were poverty-stricken. One day Sudama's wife, unable to find any food to prepare for her husband, went to him and asked that he visit his friend Kṛṣṇa in Dwaraka and beg some charity. Sudama was reluctant, but when she persisted, he agreed to go, reflecting that an opportunity to see the Lord was extremely auspicious. His wife begged a few handfuls of flattened rice as a gift for Sri Krishna, and Sudama set off for Dwaraka. As Sudama approached the palace of Lord Krishna's principal wife, Rukmini Devi, the Lord saw him from a distance. Krishna immediately rose from his seat on Rukmini's bed and embraced his friend with great joy. Then he sat Sudama down on the bed, washed his feet with his own hands, and sprinkled the wash water on his head. After this, he presented him with various gifts and worshipped him with incense, lamps, and so on. Meanwhile, Rukmini fanned the shabbily dressed Brahmana with a yak-tail whisk. All of this astonished the residents of the palace. Lord Sri Krishna then took the hand of his friend, and the two of them, reminiscent about the things they had done together long ago while living in the school of their spiritual master. Sudam pointed out that Krishna engages in the pastime of acquiring an education only to set an example for human society. This is text 1. śrī-rājovāca bhagavan yāni cānyāni mukundasya mahā-ātmanaḥ vīryāṇy ananta-vīryasya śrotum icchāmi hey prabho. King Parīkṣit said, O Lord, O Master, I wish to hear about other valorous deeds performed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, whose valor is unlimited. Repeat. King Parīkṣit said, My Lord, O Master, I wish to hear about other valorous deeds performed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, whose valor is unlimited. Text 2. Konu shrutva sakrit brahman uttama shloka satkataha virameta vishesha jogyo vishana kama marganai konu shrutva sakrit brahman uttama shloka satkataha virameta vishogya virameta visheshagyo vishana kama marganai konu shrutva sakrit brahman uttama shloka satkata virameta visheshagyo vishana kama marganai. Mataji's? Ka, who, na, indeed, shrutva, having heard, asakrit, repeatedly, Brahman, O Brahmana, Uttama Shloka of Lord Kṛṣṇa, Sat, transcendental, Kata, topics, Vira, the glasses, Vira Meta, can desist, Vishesha, the essence of life, Gya, who knows, Vishana, disgusted, Kama, for material desire, Marganai, with seeking. Translation, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O Brahmana, how could anyone who knows the essence of life and is disgusted with endeavoring for sense gratification give up the transcendental topics of Lord Uttama Shloka after hearing them repeatedly? Please repeat. O Brahmana, how could anyone who knows the essence of life and is disgusted with endeavoring for sense gratification give up the transcendental topics of Lord Uttama Shloka after hearing them repeatedly? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments herein that we see many persons who, even after hearing the topics of the Lord repeatedly, give up their spiritual dedication. The Acharya replies that the word Visheshagya is therefore significant here. Those who have actually understood the essence of life do not give up Krishna consciousness. A further qualification is to be Vishanakama Marganai, disgusted with material sense gratification. These two qualities are complementary. One who has experienced the real taste of Krishna consciousness automatically becomes disgusted with the inferior taste of material pleasure. Such a genuine hearer of the topics of Krishna cannot give up hearing about the Lord's fascinating pastimes. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Antikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhyevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo, namo namaha. Just wanted to read a little bit of this about Gadadhar Pandit. From his very childhood, Gadadhar had followed behind Nimai as if he were his shadow. Gadadhar was quite detached from the world. His only object of attachment was Nimai. Nimai called Gadadhar and told him, "My dear Gadadhar, since your early childhood you have always been devoted to Lord Kṛṣṇa, but I have simply wasted my time in false pursuits and achieved nothing. At that time I too was close to Sri Krishna, but due to my own fault I have now lost this invaluable treasure. Please tell me how I can find him again." He wept inconsolably and lost consciousness again. After some time, seeing Gadadhar alone, Nimai asked him again, "Where's my Lord Kṛṣṇa? Please tell me." Gadadhar answered, "Your Kṛṣṇa is hidden within your heart." At this time, Nimai started digging at his chest with his nails. Gadadhar leapt forward and held Nimai's hands tightly. Mother Sachi happened to witness this incident and ran up to them and told Gadadhar, "You have just saved my Nimai." She blessed him and said, "Stay with Nimai for your entire life so that my son may be protected." There's so much more that Srimati Radharani is always thinking of Krishna, meditating on Krishna. And here, Parīkṣit Maharaj, after hearing so much from Śukadeva Gosvāmī, he was asking again how anyone who knows the essence of life and is disgusted with endeavoring for sense gratification give up the transcendental topics of Lord Uttama Shloka after hearing them repeatedly. So, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Human life means to follow religious principles. So people in the beginning, according to their culture and maybe how they've been brought up, human beings follow religious principles. They may not have full understanding of the relationship with God or the process of achieving that awakening of our spiritual identity, Jivera Swarupoi Krishnera Nityadas. So Dharma, Artha, means that by performing our religious duties, that one is favored and makes material accomplishments. Artha means money. Money can purchase the things that everyone is desiring, happiness. Dharma, Artha, Kama. Then we try to fulfill our desires. But everyone sees how all these allurements and pleasures of this world, they're all temporary. And one ultimately becomes frustrated and disgusted because there may be some energy in our beginning, in our youth, and we're running after the pleasures of this world, thinking this will bring me happiness, but ultimately it brings total distress. Just like if someone sees that you're going to drink poison and tells you, "Don't drink the poison." "Oh, but it has nice sugar and fruits, but it has poison." So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining the parang drishtva nivartate, the higher taste, the spiritual taste. So one who's very, very fortunate, Brahmanda Brahmite Konya Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That seed of devotion is awakened in the heart of one who's very fortunate by the mercy of Krishna and Guru. I don't know how we have the good fortune of being in Vrindavan Dham to hear Parīkṣit Maharaj speaking with Śukadeva Gosvāmī about the glories of Krishna. He wants to hear more of the valorous activities of the Supreme Lord, whose pastimes are unfathomable and unlimited. And due to the nature of Krishna's wonderful pastimes, persons who are of demonic nature, they want to understand or equate Krishna with an ordinary human being, or that actually when the impersonal absolute manifests in a human form, he also has a temporary material form made of matter. But Krishna's spiritual, Satchidananda Vigraha. In the spiritual kingdom, unlimited living entities are serving Krishna in many, many different varieties of relationships. And here, fortunately enough, Krishna, he manifested himself in this world. He could have killed so many demons. It's described that previous to Krishna's appearance, the demigods and demons had many, many battles. And many of the demons who died on the battlefield, they came back as princes and royalty. And due to their puffed up prestige that I'm a king or emperor, the leader of so many others, that the demonic influence was overburdening Mother Bhumi. So the time came, now Dwapara Yuga, the time for Krishna to appear in his Leela. So Krishna manifested himself, and many of his eternal associates came from the spiritual world for the purpose of enacting beautiful pastimes to attract those who are actually forgetful of their relationship. There's no question of actually being cut off from Krishna. Krishna is our Father. He's Satchidananda Vigraha. We're also eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge, but temporarily covered by the material body and material senses. And everyone's looking for this happiness. But Krishna came to show us how to awaken that. He spoke to the sun god the same teaching that he spoke to Arjuna. Arjuna was an eternal associate of the Lord, still is engaged in various pastimes. And many other demigods were told to come and take part in the Leela with Krishna for the purpose of liberating the conditioned souls. Generally, for one to make any spiritual advancements, it's understood he has to perform austerities and penances. But here Krishna, very kindly, because of Kali Yuga, this is the age where people are very slow in spiritual advancement. We don't have the ability to sit in meditation or perform great austerities. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared just 500 years ago, and he also brought his associates, just like Gadadhar Pandit. We're singing Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. All the associates of the Lord came to perform the Sankirtan Yajna, the performance of Sankirtan. So everyone wants to hear something. Isn't it questions and answers? People go to the university with so many questions and answers, thinking that let me have a good education so that by this education I can develop an understanding how I can manipulate material energy and become wealthy, very famous person, very strong, powerful person. All the qualities that Krishna has. Krishna is the most beautiful, the most opulent, the wisest. So many qualities are there, and everyone's trying to imitate Krishna's activities. But we should know that this life is temporary, and very quickly it's finished. The whole material creation is temporary. Just like in a prison house, it's meant for those who are criminals, not law-abiding. And the government takes care, all the different necessities are supplied. Just like here, we're having all the supplies necessary, and we're thinking that only this planet Earth, there are human beings, there's aquatics, there's life everywhere throughout this world, but they're thinking every other planet is full of dust and rocks. There's nothing there. And even though there are millions of planets throughout the universe, many unlimited universes. But this is the nature of the materialistic teaching, that human life is being wasted in the slaughterhouse of this education. So the real education begins by taking instruction from the Guru. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnananas tattva darshana. In order to learn the truth, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master, inquire submissively, and render service. Because that master has seen the truth, he can impart that knowledge to you. Om jnana timarandasya jnananjana shalakayam chakshurun militam jena tasmai shri guruve namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my master. And every day we're singing in the Mangalartik prayers, greet our spiritual master, that he's engaging us in devotional service of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanavedanam. When Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Hiranyakashipu, what's the best thing you learned in school? He told him, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the Lord, this is the real purpose and goal of life. But how do we actually embrace that this path of bhakti, the path of hearing? Hearing what? Hearing about Krishna, hearing about all the Lord's wonderful activities. Like we have Ram Nomi, we hear about Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman and Sita, and how the Lord performs these wonderful activities, kills the demonic Ravana, who was trying to enjoy the energy of Krishna. He had a whole city of gold. He wanted to make a stairway to heaven. That why we have to perform all these austerities. Through my power, I will make a stairway to heaven. Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to become immune to old age, disease, and death. No one can kill me. I need a benediction from Brahma. So he performed great austerities. Ravana also worshipped Lord Shiva with austerities. And many can have various benedictions. But what is the greatest benediction? To awaken our love for Krishna, awaken our eternal relationship with Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, under the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Shakti Vinanahe Tara Pravartanat. Just like we had our 50th anniversary, many devotees are glorifying the wonderful activities of how Srila Prabhupada, it appeared as though he was considered very educated. He had a very prominent position in the chemical industry, to become very wealthy. But he renounced everything. He renounced family. He renounced all the ideas of becoming rich and famous in this world to take up the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He had no desire to take sannyas or renounce. But not that everyone has to take sannyas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was also surrounded by sannyasis, but also grihastas, brahmachari, vanaprastha. That is just, Lord Chaitanya says, I'm not a brahmachari, I'm not a grihasta, a vanaprastha sannyasi, gopi, bharatu, Padakamalayo das anudas. The important thing is how to serve Krishna. And all these examples are there for us. How to lead a strict brahmachari life. Okay, the mind is disturbing. It may not be appropriate for everyone, although it's recommended because it becomes even more complicated as one enters into the grihasta ashram. Then you have to think family, children, medical needs, take care of them, always worried about them being sick, or how to have a nice home. otherwise you're a loser. You know, the wife is expecting bangles, a nice sari, and you know, you need a nice car and all the different health insurance and life insurance, and children need clothes and school, and they have so many desires and so many, when they hit the teenage years, they become rebellious. And although you've dedicated so much of your energy and time to make sure that they're always happy and always healthy and comfortable, and is the wife satisfied? Are the children satisfied? Are my family members satisfied? Is my community satisfied? So we're working like a dog. It's been a very hard day. All day working like a mule, like an ass, looking for a little grass, but the washerman is loading the laundry on the donkey while he just sits there, and all day he's carrying somebody else's load for a little bit of grass that he can get anywhere. So this is the basic misunderstanding. We're thinking, oh, brahmachari life, it's too austere, it's too difficult. But the simplicity of actually surrendering to the spiritual master and taking guidance. This is a real teacher. A teacher is one who can give you knowledge of the absolute truth, not some speculative knowledge about industry or technology on how to make more money and how to actually bring people out from the simple village life where they're tilling the land, producing fresh vegetables, they have a nice simple lifestyle, singing the glories of the Lord together in the morning and the evening, where they go into these factories and steel mills. I've mentioned I grew up in Buffalo, New York, the young boy, and my brother worked in Bethlehem Steel. Every day he'd come back, pitch black in the cold. Imagine all day long you're in the heat and all the noise and all the machinery, just for a little bit of money so that you can continue your materialistic lifestyle. And ultimately, what is the end result of everything? Of working very, very hard for my children and my family. But you have to do that. That's a responsibility. But Krishna consciousness shows how to engage the children, how to engage the family in hearing and chanting about Krishna by having the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Previously, people may have had the culture and support of the way that people would behave in a more spiritual character. Nowadays, Kali Yuga, children have no respect. If you go into schools, they threaten their teachers, and there's constant fighting. And now with the modern technology, no more babysitters needed. They could sit all day and play video games on the TV, or those, how they do, they're killing games, you know, isn't it? You're killing demons here, left and right. Maybe they want to assist Krishna in their leela of killing demons, you know. So all day they're playing these video games. You come and say, hello, how are you? No, get out of the way, I'm playing my game here. This is not a civilization, a society we want to grow up in. Parīkṣit Maharaj, from the very beginning, was worshipping Krishna. And throughout his whole life, he had Krishna on his mind by being surrounded. And in order to fulfill the mission of the Srimad-Bhagavatam being recited, miraculously, Śukadeva Gosvāmī, after receiving the message that within 7 days you have to die, he was powerful enough to counteract that curse. But he accepted that no, this is, renounced everything, his kingdom, his wealth, his reputation, everything. But because he was ready to fulfill the mission of the Lord, Śukadeva Gosvāmī appeared on the scene, all the great sages, all the different, many demigods and from other interplanetary, everyone came for this very auspicious occasion. And Śukadeva Gosvāmī was very happy to hear the questions of Parīkṣit Maharaj. We'll see here also that he's questioning, I want to hear more about Krishna's activities. And the very beginning of Srimad-Bhagavatam, when the sages were asking the questions, and he said, this is the best kind of question, how to achieve perfection of Krishna consciousness through the proper hearing and chanting. So this is important. This Krishna consciousness movement that Srila Prabhupada established is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. And we have a shelter for all the devotees. The shelter means we can rise early in the morning. This is a practice, it's a science. It's not some speculation. We were discussing yesterday how there was a big court case because of Krishna consciousness. We're distributing books profusely throughout America and Europe. So the different government agencies they became fearful. They said, if we don't stop this Hare Krishna movement, it's like an epidemic. It'll take over the government. It'll take over everything. And they have no idea how powerful. So they arrested some devotees and they started making criminal cases that were brainwashing, were forcing people to take up some Eastern religion, which is, taking away the freedom of people's thought and ideas. So Srila Prabhupada, he told the devotees, you take all these quotes from the professors, because at that time the library party was going to universities, all the prestigious colleges, and many of the professors who read the books and studied the Krishna Consciousness Society were writing very beautiful, affirming that the Krishna consciousness is authorized, it's cultural, historical, and Prabhupada was insisting that let the judges and the different people who are responsible read the books, and then you will see that this is actually very scientific, authorized movement meant for the purpose of helping humanity in the best way by awakening God consciousness. So this is how the judge, when he gave his verdict after reading Srimad-Bhagavatam and other books, you see how Krishna is also engaging others to become more attracted to Krishna consciousness. He very strongly affirmed that, yes, this is a bona fide religion and it's meant for the ultimate good of human life. So we should feel very fortunate by Prabhupada's mercy that we've been introduced to Krishna consciousness, and simply by hearing daily Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, chanting on our rounds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No need some new ideas. Oh, maybe if I go here or see this place, or there's so many philosophies, so many teachings. Prabhupada's giving us everything. Srimad-Bhagavatam is just so comprehensive. First, Brahma was manifested, but through his austerities, he pleased Krishna. Krishna gave the Vedic literatures to Brahma, and Brahma very diligently studied 3 times the whole Vedic literature, just for the purpose of being able to convey that message to Narada Muni, from Narada Muni to Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, Evang Parampara Praptang Imang Rajarshayo Vidhu Sakare Neha Mahata Yoganashta Parantapa. This is a science being handed down from one great acharya to the next. And Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is carrying the message of the Guru Parampara, and very mercifully has given it, Tatikshava Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Santa Sadhava Sadhubhushana. Very tolerant. How can you tolerate the austerity of suffering 2 heart attacks and coming on a ship to a foreign country and again having other issues, but he was never daunted, never actually thought, oh, let me give up this idea of spreading Krishna consciousness. Although sometimes he would go to the steamship company and say, when's the next ship going back to India? I need, this place is too much for me. Material world is very overwhelming. The mind and senses are very, very overwhelming. And akama sarvo kamo va moksha kamo dariditi virena bhakti yogena yajeta purushang param. One may be full of desires. You may think, oh, I'm not so desirous. I'm like Sudama Brahman. I have no desires. Live very simple lifestyle. That may be, and that's very good. That we have to understand that we're not rejecting anything. We're utilizing everything. Prapancha katita. This is Rupa Goswami saying that we utilize everything in the service of Krishna. You're a medical man. Use your medicine to help people. Bring them to Krishna also. If you're, doing business, do business for Krishna. You're a teacher, teach them about Krishna. So we use everything in Krishna's service, and Prabhupada was training us, giving more and more ideas. I mean, many of the disciples who joined in the early days, they may have had some difficulties. We can expect on the battlefield, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dharatya Mamivaye Prapajate Mayame Tang Tarantite. Krishna's divine energy is difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders to Krishna can overcome that Maya illusion. But then again, we have to think, Yeyata Mang Prapadyate Tangs Tataiva Bhajamyaham. As much as we want to surrender to Krishna, as much as we want Krishna consciousness and put an end to the suffering of material sense gratification, because it may seem like nectar in the beginning, but it's poison in the end, because by simply pursuing, chasing after gratifying the senses, we're forced to take birth again and again, samsara. We're lost in this world. And we may think, well, what does it matter? After this life, I forget if I come back as a dog or a pig or some other universe. No, this is an opportunity. This is a great opportunity in the human form of life to get out of this samsara, repeated birth and death and suffering, and awaken our consciousness. And simply by hearing about Krishna in the company of devotees and by following the order of the spiritual master, by awakening the desire to give Krishna to others, the Sankirtan mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Gadadhar that you teach Srimad-Bhagavatam, you initiate people, you bring people to the spiritual family. Not that we need anyone, but we want to help those who are suffering, and by the whole process of endeavoring to spread Krishna consciousness, we ourselves become attached to Krishna. Can anyone imagine, after living with the devotees and chanting and hearing all the festivals we have, the singing and dancing, so many feasts, and so much activity? Material life is very boring. It's extremely boring. People, they have... It just says, do not enter, beware of dog. They don't want anybody coming to them. They don't know anybody else. They have one or two so-called friends, but at the time of death, people die miserably and very fearful. People don't like to talk about old age, disease, and death. But it's all coming, it's embracing each and every one of us. These are the miseries of life. You're forced to take birth in this world. That's a painful experience. Old age, disease, and death. And that's just, okay, I understand, that's natural. No, it's not natural, because we actually have an eternal existence beyond this body. Our consciousness is not made of material chemical combination. It's part of Krishna. Krishna's Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. We are also eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. We're meant to be with Krishna, to live with Krishna. And Prabhupada is taking us by the hand and bringing us back to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind. He gave us the best formula, chanting Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And have faith in their spiritual master. Prabhupada's our guide and guru, acharya for the next 10,000 years. Stay in Krishna's family, and for some reason, if there's difficulty, always take the association of devotees. Somehow or other, despite whatever difficulties we have, always remain in Krishna's shelter. And this is the great fortune that Prabhupada's given all of us. And so just go on Sankirtan, do your duties nicely, perform your duties nicely, and Krishna will give us that realization. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyaite katitha hyarta prakashante mahātmanaḥ. By the mercy of Krishna and Guru, one can have all the realizations of the Vedic literature revealed to him. It's a revelation, not that, oh, I'm going to stay secluded, I'm going to study all the books, I'm going to perform tapasya. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, what kind of cheater are you? Only looking for false adoration and distinction, thinking that, I'm a renunciate. I've come to Vrindavan to show that I am, a great Goswami. But we should not imitate, but we should do our duty very actively and responsibly, not simply think that I have Krishna, now others can appreciate that I'm a big devotee. Anyway, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we have 1 or 2 minutes if anyone has any questions or comments. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Dr. Madhavananda, yes, please. Give our doctor, he can give us the medicine that'll cure us of this disease of sense gratification. Directing our Bhaktivedanta hospital in Mumbai, Madhavananda.
Thank you, Panch Gauda Prabhu. So see, whatever the process of Krishna consciousness that we have is very blissful. You are always with the devotees, and even though the senses might be agitating, you are still, devotees are protecting you, the deities are giving beautiful darshans, nice classes, festivals, all that is going on. Several decades go by, you have enjoyed the Krishna conscious life, and still when you come to such slokas, there is a question in the heart, have I really developed the taste for hearing Uttama Shloka? So how do we deal with this?
So when you come to that shloka, despite the fact that we have all amenities and facilities for being Krishna conscious, and the shloka of hearing how Krishna's valorous activities, I want to hear more, but how do we actually develop attraction for that? Well, it happens by having faith in the words of Guru and having faith in the process. In the beginning, just like if you have a patient who comes to you at the hospital and you analyze their disease and you give them a diet and you give them medicine. And how is the patient going to understand or realize that the effect of this medicine? They have to have faith in the doctor, and simply by that guidance and following the prescription by the doctor, then miraculously the disease starts fading and the strength and vitality starts again manifesting itself, and then that again is more inspiration to continue following the process. So in the beginning we may not have a full understanding of how will I be attracted, I have no love for Krishna, or I have so many material desires. How will I get to the platform of being free of material desires and simply loving Krishna? It's based on faith sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha-nivritti syat. So it goes through that. Without the faith, then the mind wanders, and then we get misdirected by our contaminated mind and intelligence. But if we have faith and we keep the association of devotees, sadhu sangha, then anartha-nivritti, then all the different stumbling blocks and coverings of maya, cheto darpana marjan, the cleansing process takes effect. And just continue. Sometimes on the water, during a storm, there's heavy waves, and you're thinking, oh, this boat is really rocky. I should maybe jump off. But the waters of the turbulent ocean is much, much worse. Better to stay on the turbulent, rocky boat. So even if we have difficulty and we're not clear about how will this formula work on me, who am very fallen, even the great acharyas, they claim that I am very, very fallen, worse than Jagai Madai. And that is the proper mentality, thinking I am very unqualified, but I have faith that my spiritual master has given me the maha-mantra, he's given me the opportunity of devotional service. And the more we stay in that association, we gain strength to overcome our weaknesses and shortcomings. A few things. Hare Krishna. Someone else has a question? Comment? Everyone's ready for prasad? Breakfast? So this is wonderful. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Go, Premanand.